Taramsa Hill near Qena in Upper Egypt is an isolated landform situated some 2.5 kilometers southeast of the Dandara temple, and when humans left Africa to spread out across the world 100,000 years ago, they probably passed through the Nile Valley of Egypt. A Belgian archeological team has found the skeleton of a child in the Nile Valley of southern Egypt that may be as much as 55,000 years old. For hundreds of thousands of years, humans and more ancient hominids visited Taramsa to make stone tools, and Pierre Vermeersch from the Catholic University of Leuven in Belgium had been tracking the progress of this industry. People apparently never settled at Taramsa Hill. They merely trekked through on a regular basis, so Vermeersch wasn't expecting to find any human remains. During a visit to the site, while surveying the Taramsa area for other extraction sites in March 1994, a heavily weathered skull was discovered in a collapsing ancient trench section. They decided to excavate the find immediately in order to prevent it from being destroyed further. During the excavation, other skeletal components in the anatomical position were discovered. Vermeersch eventually uncovered nearly the entire skeleton of a child resting in a corner of a shallow pit. The child appears to have been carefully positioned. It was seated, facing east, leaning backward with its head facing up to the sky, resting upon a sand bed containing fewer cobbles. The legs were bent to the left in a pronounced contracted position. The left arm was also bent, resting upon the pelvis, and the right arm was stretched down behind the back of the skeleton. Though many stone tools were found near the body, none can be clearly associated with the burial. Vermeersch said, "We are in a place where they made hundreds of thousands of tools, so everywhere everything is full of artifacts." During the excavation, full attention has been paid to all observations that could exclude or confirm the possibility that the burial was an intrusion into older deposits, and all observations point firmly to the conclusion that the skeleton is contemporaneous with the surrounding deposits. Because of its shallow position, deposited at a depth of no more than 1 meter below surface, it was excluded that the person had died by accident due to the collapse of the pit walls. The child was 8 to 10 years old at death, and Vermeersch isn't sure why he or she died so young. The slender bones and rounded forehead are clearly those of a modern human. The teeth and skull also resemble those of equally old human remains in both East Africa and the Middle East, and suggest a connection between these two populations. The skeleton is important as it documents the late Pleistocene human population of the Nile Valley, about which little is known. Another reason why this burial is important is because it dates from the time when anatomically modern humans were poised to invade Europe and Asia. Many anthropologists believe modern humans originated in eastern or southern Africa between 200,000 and 100,000 years ago. From here, our ancestors spread to Europe and Asia, eventually replacing the Neanderthals around 40,000 years ago. The most likely route would have taken them along the fertile corridor of the Nile Valley. But then, the oldest human remains found in this area were 35,000 years old, by which time the proposed migration had already happened. If an out-of-Africa origin for modern humans is advocated, the geographic passageway may have very likely been through the Nile Valley. Unfortunately, no human remains older than 35,000 were previously known. The discovery of the Taramsa burial, which can be dated to about 50,000 years ago, alters this situation dramatically. There is now a skeleton geographically intermediate between southern Africa and the Levant, although future research will be necessary to obtain a direct dating of the skeleton itself and to evaluate its anthropological characteristics. The skeleton is currently stored in Egypt, but Vermeersch plans to move the skeleton to the British Museum for conservation and further study. And that is all that we have for you. Thanks for watching, and please do not forget to support us by liking our videos and subscribing to the channel. Till then, this is Halabella, and see you soon in our next video.